At the break of dawn, the land of Bharat awakens to an ancient pulse. Temple bells echo through misty valleys, and silent sages gather at sacred rivers to glimpse the divine. This land has cradled countless philosophies, but few capture the essence of oneness, quite like Advaita Vedanta. Legend tells of a young pilgrim who traveled for weeks to reach these sacred banks. Exhausted, yet exhilarated, he sat by the river at dawn as the first rays of sun lit the waters. He felt an overwhelming sense of peace. For a moment, he forgot he was a mere pilgrim, and he felt he was the river, the sky, the entire universe. This flash of unity, fleeting yet life-changing, is the heartbeat of Advaita Vedanta. Namaste and welcome to Eyes on Bharat. I am Nikhil, and today we explore one of the most profound wisdom traditions to emerge from ancient land of Bharat, the Advait Vedanta. What if there's truly only one reality behind everything we see and experience? What if our sense of separateness is just an illusion, a veil that can be lifted? These are the provocative questions that Advaita Vedanta has posed for centuries. And in the next few minutes, we'll journey through history, philosophy, and various texts of ancient traditions to unravel the timeless message of non-duality. To truly appreciate the depth of Advaita Vedanta, let's journey back in time to where it all began. The Upanishads, often referred as the end of Vedas. Historians says it emerged between 800 to 500 before Common Era, but according to Vedic scholars, these texts has been present through oral traditions since eons, even dating back to humankind itself. These texts dare to look beyond the external rituals, venturing inward to discover life's ultimate reality. They gave rise to some of the loftiest philosophical inquiries known to humankind. Questions like, what is consciousness, and is there a truth behind the changing universe? While the Vedas initially focused on rituals to appease celestial forces, in later sections, these Upanishads took a radical turn. They proposed that each individual soul or Atman is in fact Brahman, the absolute consciousness, and that's the seed of what became the Advaita Vedanta, the bold claim that all is one. But how did these philosophical verses transform into a formal system of thought? Enter Adi Shankaracharya, an 8th century philosopher saint who revolutionized spiritual discourse. Legend says he traversed the length and breadth of Bharat, debating scholars and re-establishing the primacy of non-duality or Advaita. Adi Shankara's brilliance lay in synthesizing scattered teachings into a cohesive framework, the one that emphasized self-inquiry, the nature of consciousness, and the illusory power of Maya. Through him, the Advaita Vedanta became a defining pillar of Bharat's spirituality. Beyond the monastic centers, Advaita Vedanta seeped into the arts and daily life. Poets and musicians drew inspiration from its message of unity, and the temple culture across Bharat reflected the notion that the divine resides in equality in every heart. Over centuries, devotional movement like Bhakti also found resonance with non-dual teachings, reminding devotees that the beloved God they worshipped and their own self were ultimately one and the same. For centuries, Advait Vedanta served as a spiritual cornerstone for many schools of thought. Debates and discourses thrived between non-dualists and dualists, and other philosophical strands, each enriching Bharat's intellectual tapestry. Yet, Advait Vedanta, with its elegantly simple proclamation of oneness, remains a unifying undercurrent, connecting not just philosophies but peoples and culture under the idea that we share a single essence. But what exactly does Advaita Vedanta teach about the universe, the self, and the illusion we often mistake for reality? In our next segment, we dive deeper into its core concept, where we'll unpack Atman, Brahman, and Maya, and see how they illuminate the path from knowledge to experience. Having seen how Advait Vedanta evolved through history and shaped Bharat's spiritual tapestry, we now arrive at the heart of its teaching, where the veil of illusion meets the light of unity. At the center of Advaita Vedanta stands Brahman, the infinite, unchanging principle that underlies all existence, described as Sat, Chit, Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Brahman transcends form, name, and even thought. If Brahman is the cosmic ocean, what is Atman? Simply put, it's the individual self. Yet, Advaita Vedanta declares the Atma is no different from Brahman, like a droplet of water that shares the same essence as the ocean. Each of us is at our core divine and boundless. The Upanishads boldly proclaim Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and Tattvam Asi, that thou art. These are not just poetic musings but direct assertions of non-duality. They invite us to see that our deepest identity is not just body or mind, but the very source of existence itself. But if we truly are Brahman, why don't we experience life that way? Maya, the elusive answer, often translated as illusion. Maya is the veil that makes the one reality appear as many. It's the force that leads us to believe we are a separate self, living in a fragmented world. Here's the grand formula. In simple terms, Atman equals Brahman. Yet, due to Maya, we perceive them as separate. The journey of Advaita is to lift that veil through insight, practice, and direct experience. Advaita emphasizes that merely knowing these concepts intellectually is not enough. True understanding comes from a shift in perception, a realization that uproots ignorance. This involves a rigorous yet liberating process, examining one's own identity, meditating on the nature of consciousness, and finally, experiencing oneness firsthand. The non-dual view suggests that all the conflicts, fears, and separations we feel stem from misunderstanding true nature. In recognizing ourselves as Brahman, we shift from isolation to unity, from anxiety to an unshakable sense of peace. The transformation isn't just theoretical, it can be profoundly personal and life-altering. Now that we have glimpsed the pillars of Advaita Vedanta, Brahman, Atman, and Maya, how do we actually realize this oneness in our everyday lives? In the next segment, we'll uncover the methods and practices taught to dissolve ignorance and experience the truth of non-duality. The sages of Advaita outline 3 main steps to turn knowledge into realization: Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. These form a systematic approach, listening to truth, reflecting on it deeply, and then meditating until the truth becomes a living experience. Shravana involves immersing oneself into the teachings, studying the Upanishads, listening to discourses, and reading commentaries by masters like Adi Shankaracharya. It sets the foundation for understanding the message that you are that your essence is in fact one with the Absolute. Intellectual understanding alone can remain superficial. So Manana of reflection invites the seeker to dissect doubts and questions, turning conceptual knowledge into internal conviction. Through focused contemplation, the teachings start to resonate on a deeper level, unraveling layers of habitual thinking that keeps us feeling separate. Finally, Nididhyasana, prolonged meditation on the truth of oneness. Here, the seeker transcends mere intellectual grasp, dissolving mind's restlessness as the mind quits. The separation between subject and object blurs, revealing the non-dual reality directly. This shift isn't about achieving oneness, but recognizing it has always been so. While Advaita is often viewed as path of knowledge, many practitioners blend it with devotion, surrendering to the divine, chanting sacred names, or engaging in temple rituals may seem dualistic, yet many Advaitians see them as ways to purify the mind and open the heart. Advaita doesn't deny devotion. Rather, it recognizes the deep love for the divine. It can also dissolve egoic boundaries when love becomes all-encompassing. The notion of I and God can merge into a single unitive awareness. Another powerful method is self-inquiry, famously praised as Nayati Nayati, meaning not this, not this. By negating all that we are not, the body, the mind, the emotions, we uncover what remains, the witnessing consciousness or pure awareness, identical with Brahman. In our modern world, these ancient practices can still serve as guiding beacons, a daily routine of introspective reading, journaling to reflect on insights, and dedicated meditation sessions, no matter how short, can gradually reorient us toward oneness. Even mindful moments in everyday tasks like savoring a cup of tea or walking in nature remind us that each breath, each sensation points back to an underlying unity. From study and contemplation to meditation and devotion, the traditional pathways of Advait Vedanta aim to dissolve the illusion of separateness. But what happened when these centuries-old teachings meet a modern mystic's emphasis on celebration and inner freedom? In our next segment, we'll explore how contemporary teachers have woven Advaita's non-dual insight into dynamic, life-affirming paths, reminding us that silence and celebration can be two sides of the same coin. Having seen how Advaita's timeless practices guide us inward, let's look at how modern teachers reframe these teachings, inviting seekers to blend silence with celebration, introspection with dance. In the late 20th century, a contemporary mystic emerged with a fresh voice, one that honored Advaitic insights of oneness, while encouraging a full-bodied embrace of life's joys. His message, that deep meditation and exuberant celebration are not opposites, but contemporary doors to the same truth. Traditional Advaita often highlights quiet introspection. By contrast, this teacher proposed we explore both inner silence and active expression, to use dance, music, and laughter as a powerful tools to break through mental barriers and connect us to the present moment. By fully immersing ourselves in the body, in the moment, we momentarily sidestep the restless mind, unveiling a glimpse of our deeper nature, pure awareness. In these vibrant practices, the boundary between self and other blurs, echoing Advaita's call to recognize the oneness that pervades existence. Witnessing or Sakshi Bhava is not new to Advaita, yet this modern mystic gave it a playful twist, suggesting that if we allow ourselves to dance to exhaustion, a natural stillness flows, one that reveals the witness more spontaneously. Many wondered whether this exuberant style contradicted the contemplative nature of classical Advaita. Yet, in essence, both paths aim to dissolve the illusion of separateness. Some require quiet solitude, others harness the energy of movement and celebration. The underlying goal remains the same: to realize the ever-present oneness beneath the life's drama. By integrating music, dance, and laughter, this modern voice reached a global audience. People who might have found purely silent methods challenging, the result, a fusion of East and West, ancient and new, all pointing toward the same insight: we are not separate. In today's high-speed world, these lively meditations can provide a release valve, a way to de-stress, connect with the body, and slip naturally into a space of quiet awareness. Whether it is a 5-minute dance break or a full retreat, the idea is simple: move and celebrate until the stillness dawns on its own. Though some might see this approach as unconventional, it resonates with the non-dual understanding that everything can be a gateway to realization, even laughter and dance. Ultimately, it's yet another expression of Advait Vedant's core principle that the same consciousness flows through every aspect of existence. Quiet or dynamic, traditional or modern. And so the invitation is to celebrate life fully, then rest in the silent witness, a bridge connecting classical Advaita with the rhythms of our modern age. We've witnessed how Advait Vedant's message of oneness has been interpreted through both classical and modern lenses, embracing silence, study, and even celebration. But how do these profound insights translate into everyday life, far from ashrams and meditation halls? The beauty of Advaita is that it doesn't demand you to abandon the world. Instead, it suggests a shift in perspective. seeing life's challenges, relationships, and responsibilities through the lens of oneness. For many, living Advaita doesn't mean escaping responsibilities. It's about carrying a sense of unity into every interaction, seeing co-workers, neighbors, or strangers as reflections of the same essence. This can foster greater empathy, reduce stress, and gently dissolving the walls that divide me from you. Of course, it's not always easy to maintain a non-dual awareness in a world full of deadlines, conflicts, and personal struggles. We still face everyday stresses, emotional ups and downs, and complex relationships. The teachings of Advaita don't deny these realities. They invite us to face them more consciously, recognizing that beneath every challenge lies an unbreakable oneness. Curious about how to bring non-duality into your life? Try these simple approaches. Take brief pauses during the day. Close your eyes. Feel the breath. Remember the oneness behind all forms. When speaking to someone, see them not as other, but as another expression of the same consciousness. Nature constantly demonstrates oneness. Observe how every element interdepends, reflecting the unity Advaita points to. Ask yourself, who is feeling this stress or emotion? Keep gently inquiring until you sense a deeper awareness beyond the mind's chatter. As we each find ways to integrate Advaitic principles, be it through meditation, mindful conversation, or creative expression, we discover that the teachings aren't locked away in ancient texts. They are alive in every moment, awaiting our recognition. From the forests where seers compiled Upanishads to the dynamic approaches of a modern mystic, we've seen how Advait Vedanta isn't just an esoteric philosophy. It's a living recognition that beyond our differences and dramas, we are intimately one, threads in a single tapestry of consciousness. What began as a lofty philosophical teaching becomes a deeply personal when we realize our everyday encounters, the tensions, the laughter, the mundane routines, can all be the gateway to discovering the oneness of who we truly are. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Eyes on Bharat. It has been an honor to share this expression of Advaita Vedanta's timeless wisdom. I hope it sparks a curiosity, inspires dialogue, and perhaps even begins a new chapter in your own spiritual or personal journey. Please subscribe to the channel and give this a like, as doing this will help this channel grow. Stay tuned for more journeys into the heart of Bharat. Remember, beneath the layers of thought and form, we are woven from the same luminous thread. May we each awaken to this truth within ourselves and in each other.